Hi and welcome back to Love English. In today's lesson, business expressions, idiomatic expressions and phrases. Today I want to share with you 30 of some of the most common expressions you're likely to hear in a working professional environment. Now, it's important to remember that these expressions aren't exclusively used in a business environment. You can use them in general day-to-day English too. So whether you are looking to boost your business English or indeed just your English in general, all of these expressions are going to come in useful. I'll be sharing with you the expression, the idiom, and of course examples of how you might hear them being used, both in a professional business environment and in general day-to-day English. Now, as with many of my 50 this and 30 that lessons, I like to leave the last one to you. So I'll be sharing 29 expressions and I would like you to share number 30. Comment below and share your expression, your idiom that you think we might hear used in more professional environments. So, without further ado, let's get down to business. Now heads up, if you'd like to learn more about Sabrah and me, then don't forget to check out our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok. And of course, if you want to stay on top of your English, then don't forget to click that subscribe button and of course the notifications bell to make sure you are notified of when we upload new lessons. So, are you ready? Let's get down to business. 29 expressions and idioms that you can use commonly in a business work environment, but also in day-to-day English. Number one, you've just heard me use it, and that is to get down to business. To get down to business. Essentially, we use this expression when we want to focus on a topic, on the business at hand. We want to avoid small talk and dealing with unnecessary things and focus. Right, now that everyone's here, let's get down to business. The best way to market our new product. Number two, if you give somebody a heads up, you're informing them or even warning them in advance, essentially so that they can prepare themselves for something. Heads up, the Vice President is coming in tomorrow to inspect the offices, so make sure you get things in order. We can even use this expression in day-to-day English. Heads up, Sarah's in a right mood. She didn't pass her driving test, so it might be worth avoiding her for a bit. Now these next expressions all include the word ball, so hopefully you'll be able to learn these a little quicker. Number three, to get the ball rolling. To get the ball rolling. Essentially it means to begin, to start something in order to make progress. Often in advance of when you actually need to be doing something. To make progress before the implementation of a project. Right, why don't we get the ball rolling and have an early meeting tomorrow? I really think it'll help us get our heads around the project. There's a nice extra expression to get your head around something, meaning to understand it better. And even in general English, this can be used. Come on, we need to get the ball rolling. Why don't we organise a meeting? There's no sense waiting around for things to happen. Right, number four, to be on the ball. Yes, on the ball. This is figurative, it's not literal. You don't need to be standing on a ball, but essentially if you describe a person as being on the ball, you're talking about them being aware of trends, methods and new ideas. Essentially, they are very aware of what is going on. So in a business environment, it is very important to be on the ball, to keep up to date with the latest products, news related to your industry. Maintaining contact with customers is vital if you want to stay on the ball. It's also a great expression when we use it to talk about a person. Essentially, when we say that someone is on the ball, we're describing them as being intelligent. Sabrah, a girl like that, she's really on the ball. Now, if you keep your eye on the ball, then you are keeping focus. Focus particularly on a goal. Keep your eye on the ball and you won't miss out. It's so important to keep your eye on the ball. Otherwise, things can really go wrong. Right, number 6, to pull it off. Here we actually have a phrasal verb, one that we can use in business or indeed in day-to-day English. If you pull something off, then essentially you succeed in doing something difficult or unexpected. Perhaps if you are asked a question that you weren't prepared for. He wasn't prepared to be quizzed on the subject, but he pulled it off and managed to think on his feet and answer correctly. Have you heard about the surprise party Jack's planning for Sophie? I'm really not sure if he's got enough time to pull it off. Now, number 7, to catch up on something. We all know that when we talk about catching up with someone, we're referring to meeting up with them and discussing what they've been doing recently in their lives. However, when we talk about catching up on something, we're referring to, most often, work. A phrasal verb that refers to doing something that you have not had time to do recently or not been able to do. I have been so busy with meetings today, I really need to catch up on my emails, meaning I need to answer them, sit down and read them carefully. We can even use this in day-to-day English, particularly when talking about a television series that we regularly watch and perhaps have fallen behind, it's kind of the opposite here, fallen behind in the number of episodes that we've watched. Oh, I really need to catch up on Lucifer, brilliant television series on Netflix. I haven't seen the recent episodes that they've shared. So to catch up on your favourite television series or to catch up on work. Now, number 8, if we describe something as being up in the air, it is uncertain. We are not sure. I'm planning on going on holiday, but things are a little bit up in the air with COVID at the moment, so I'm not sure exactly when or if we can definitely go. In a work environment, in a business environment, this expression is often used to talk about projects, about things that have not been secured, confirmed, or decisions that have not been made yet. Things are a little bit up in the air at work at the moment. We haven't signed the contract, so we're not sure if we can take on more staff. Now, number 9, to get up to speed, or for someone to get you up to speed or bring you up to speed. This is similar to catch up on something. Essentially, it means to have the latest information on a particular project, a topic, whatever it might be. Now that John's joined our team, we need to get him up to speed so that he can help us with the newest projects. Likewise, we can also use this when talking about Netflix. I really need to get up to speed on the latest Killing Eve episode. I've completely missed the last 2. Number 10, when talking about figures, that could be referring to money or people. A ballpark figure, referring to a rough estimate. Have you got a ballpark figure for how many guests we're expecting tomorrow so I can order the food? Or in a business environment, you might hear them refer to a ballpark figure in terms of money. We really need a ballpark figure for the costs. Otherwise, we can't go ahead. Now, when you don't know how an activity, a plan that you have will play out from a certain point, essentially you'll be thinking on your feet, you'll be unsure of how things are going to go, you might say, let's take it from there. Let's take it from there. This is showing relative flexibility and the ability to be spontaneous and not need everything to be fixed and planned. For example, let's complete the initial analysis of the project and take it from there. Let's complete our market research and we can take things from there. Now, number 12, you might hear put off used very frequently, but we can also use push back to delay something. Why don't we push back the launch of the new lipstick so that it coincides with Christmas? So to push something back, often a date, a launch of a product, is to delay it. Now, number 13, to move forward or to push forward. This is essentially when something is done sooner than planned. For example, we've pushed forward the meeting so that Sabrah can attend. Number 14, a common collocation, to tackle a problem. When we tackle a problem, essentially, we face it head on and try to resolve it. To deal with, to confront a problem. It seems too many people are taking sick days at work. We really need to tackle the problem and find out why. Number 15, to get the message across. To get the message across, basically to make yourself understood. Well, I think you got your message across loud and clear in the meeting today. It really went well. Now, when you want to ask someone's opinion of something, you can use this brilliant expression, both in a business environment and, of course, in general day-to-day English. What do you make of? What do you make of? What do you make of her decision to sack him? What do you make of our plans to expand the business? What do you make of her behaviour at the party yesterday? Yes, this is a great expression when you want to ask somebody, what do you think? What do you make of? Number 17, to be, to stay, or to remain on top of something. Very similar to be on the ball. To remain or to be on top of something is to be able to control, to deal with a situation successfully. You need to be on top of the project to ensure it succeeds. She was really on top of her studies. She revised all week and passed the exam. Number 18, a little bit more formal than some of these expressions, to address an issue, to address a problem, to address something. Here we're using address as a verb rather than address, describing a location where you live, your offices, whatever it might be. No, we're referring to address in terms of dealing with, confronting something. I think it's time we address the issue of budget cuts. We're going to have to make some hard decisions about who to keep on, who to keep employed. Now, number 19, to think outside of the box. This is a great idiomatic expression that I'm sure many of you have already come across. You've heard of this expression before. When we refer to somebody thinking out of the box, we're referring to creative thinking, to think of ways, solutions to problems that perhaps others would not normally think of, to be original. We really need to start thinking outside of the box if we want to increase profits. Number 20, to pull strings or to pull a few strings. This is a great idiomatic expression that we can use in all kinds of situations. So if you pull a few strings, you're using your influence, your contacts, your connections in order to get something done. Often it can be a little bit unfair. She pulled a few strings and got me an interview at the company. And guess what? I got the job. Number 21, to bite off more than you can chew. Essentially, an expression that means taking on too much, more than you have time or the capacity to actually complete, to do. For example, at work, if you really want to prove yourself, if you're in a new job, you might say yes to everything your boss gives you, and essentially you're biting off more than you can chew. You're not able to complete the work you're given. This can be used in a business situation and, of course, day-to-day English. She really bit off more than she could chew when she said she'd babysit the 5 kids. Number 22, to see the big picture. Essentially, when you focus on too many small details, you don't see things from a bigger perspective. Looking at all these things in such detail, we've really lost sight of the bigger picture. Essentially, we're trying to improve customer service, not scare them away. 23, if you describe something as being above board or not above board, you're essentially referring to how legal, how appropriate, correct something is. I really want to keep things all above board and have a very clear record of funds coming in. I don't want anyone to accuse us of being bribed. 24, to go the extra mile, to go the extra mile. If you go the extra mile, you are making a greater effort to do something, to succeeding something. He went the extra mile and spent 3 evenings at work last week. He really wanted to make sure the project was completed. She went the extra mile and made dessert as well. What a lovely meal we had. 25. These are your knuckles, and when you knuckle down to something, this is a wonderful colloquial informal expression saying essentially you're going to work hard. She knuckled down and got her revision done. We really need to knuckle down and focus on the job, otherwise we're never going to complete the project. Now, often when you start a new job, it can be quite overwhelming. There's a lot to learn fast. And when you hit the ground running, you go into that job with a great sense of motivation, determination, and essentially you want to get up to speed with things as quickly as possible, having full energy and focus. Wow, she really hit the ground running taking on those 3 new cases. She's definitely ready to work hard. Now, 27, to be thrown in at the deep end implies a sense of not being prepared for the work that you have to do. If you are thrown in at the deep end, referring to water, essentially, are you able to swim in the deep end? Then you're starting a new, difficult job without perhaps the help and support you need. I was really thrown in at the deep end when they didn't give me a handover period. How was I supposed to know what work needed to be prioritised? 28. This is more American. A slice of the pie, to have a slice of the pie or to share a slice of the pie. In British English, we might actually use cake instead, to share a slice of the cake. Essentially, this is when we're talking about the benefits of something, the profit, perhaps. We were so successful last week that some of the staff were expecting a slice of the pie, but unfortunately, their boss wasn't willing to give it. And finally, number 29, the lion's share. The lion's share of something, referring to how much work you do. In this case, the majority, the bulk of the work. My husband does the lion's share of cooking at home. Well, he is Italian. In a business environment, you might say, Sabrah did the lion's share of the work for the presentation, so she needs to take all the credit. So there we have it, 29 expressions that you can use in business and in day-to-day English. Do comment below, try using some of those expressions, and of course add your number 30, whether it's an idiom, a phrasal verb, or an expression. Comment below and share your favourite expression to be used in business and in general English. And don't forget, make sure you do subscribe and click the notifications bell for more business English lessons. Thanks for watching. Bye.